From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News, a compilation of our coverage from the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. Our goal was to focus on Arizona's political leaders and key Southwest issues as the Democrats came together to nominate Hillary Clinton for the presidency. Tonight, we'll take you day by day through the convention highlights.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz did not open the Democratic National Convention tonight. She said it was of the best interest of the party. Wasserman Schultz announced that she will step down as the chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee after WikiLeaks released nearly 20,000 emails from top Democratic Party officials. The emails appear to foil Bernie Sanders' presidential bid. Cronkite News reporter Joey Carrera spoke with Arizona delegates to see how the emails leaked will affect their vote.
Arizona's diverse group of delegates met this morning to discuss presidential nominees. And for the Bernie Sanders delegates in the room, the topic of the leaked DNC emails was a huge discussion point.
Hillary Clinton is due to accept the Democratic presidential nomination this week, but that won't stop Tucson delegate Michael Gordy from showing his support.
Voting for Bernie for one round past when and if he ends up releasing us as delegates, just because I have that much respect for him.
Clinton wasn't Gordy's first choice, but for Felicia Rodolini, there was no question. She says Clinton has a strong track record.
As the person with the background, the experience to lead our nation and do it respectfully, professionally, and with the intention of helping all of us. And so all of us, meaning whether we're Democrats, whether we're Republicans, you look at her history, you'll see that everything she was involved in, it was always to make things better for everyone.
The FBI confirmed that it is investigating a possible hack of the DNC. Clinton's campaign blames Russia, claiming the leak was to help Trump.
Importantly, though, I think we need to focus on the fact that a foreign country is really hacking into the Democratic Party's emails and trying to disrupt our political system. And that, for me, is the biggest problem.
Donald Trump can go visit Mr. Putin as a private citizen, because if he is anything but a private citizen, he is an absolute disaster, not just for our country, but for the world.
Gordy and Rodolini may support different candidates, but they both want to see a Democrat in the White House.
We are here not only as a strong political party and as a strong Democratic contingency, but we believe we're on the map and that we will be a swing state. This year, Arizona will go for Hillary. That's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it.
If they unite, Democrats believe they can accomplish their goal.
We get people banding together to do whatever they can to reach some goal. We're going to get there.
Congressman Raul Grijalva just took the stage, and we'll have live coverage for you on cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Live in Philadelphia, Joey Carrera, Cronkite News.
Despite the controversy, Senator Bernie Sanders will address the Democratic National Convention tonight. In an email to supporters, Sanders says he will talk about the future of the country and the need for his grassroots movement to continue. Earlier, Cronkite News reporter KESHIA Butts listened as Sanders spoke to more than 100 of his delegates.
We have got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
Two lines of people stood near the escalators at the Philadelphia Convention Center. People were wearing Bernie Sanders shirts and buttons and chanting, "Show me what democracy looks like." Sanders told delegates that they should support Hillary Clinton, even though they wanted him to win.
I agree with him because we need to defeat Donald Trump, but I really wanted Bernie to be our nominee.
But Eric Cardenas says he is tired of choosing the lesser evil.
I just cannot hold myself to do that. Just morally, I'm done picking the lesser of two evils. And to me, with Trump and Hillary, I see them as two peas in the same pod.
And he will support Sanders no matter what.
I will be voting. I will be casting my vote for Bernie as many times as I can here at the convention.
In Philadelphia, KESHIA Butts, Cronkite News.
Our Public Insight Network Bureau reached out to Arizona delegates currently at the DNC and asked, what motivated you to become a delegate? One of the responses we received is from Flagstaff City Council member Eva Putsova. Putsova grew up in Slovakia and feared war with the U.S. as a child. She said that's a driving factor of why she became a delegate. She said to fight for a political platform that commits the future commander-in-chief to not just end the wars, but advance peace. Peace is patriotic. Another response we got was from Tempe resident Adam Kinsey. He said, "I'm here to help the party come together and show Republicans what a professional convention looks like." A roll call at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia ends with Hillary Clinton being named the first female presidential nominee of a major U.S. party.
Both Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders were placed into nomination for president for today's state roll call.
Madam Secretary, Arizona cast 34 votes for Senator Sanders.
And 51 votes for the next president of the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
That was the final tally from Arizona's Democratic delegation. U.S. Representative Ruben Gallego and a very special delegate cast the state's votes after months of campaigning for the coveted top of the ticket.
And the woman who cast Arizona's ballots for Clinton has certainly seen it all.
Cronkite News reporter Joey Carrera met with this honorary Arizona delegate, who is the oldest at the DNC at the age of 102.
Women's suffrage, wars, and civil rights. In her 102 years, Jerry Emmett has lived through defining moments in history, and now the centenarian hopes to witness even more. Jerry Emmett is a pillar in the Arizona Democratic community.
I've been in the state for 96 years, and there's so much of the history that I can remember better than what I ate for breakfast.
She has lived in Gilbert, Phoenix, and Prescott. She's seen the political and social landscapes change.
And everybody was a Democrat in Arizona then. I couldn't find a Republican.
Emmett is a champion of change that paved the way for future generations.
She was born before women could get the right to vote, and I've grown up my whole life just assuming that it was possible for a woman to be president.
Her lifelong friend and old neighbor can only describe her in one way.
She is irreplaceable.
Even at her age, she doesn't seem to be slowing down.
She lives. She doesn't conserve her energy. She doesn't try to rest a lot. She goes hard, and she says, when I'm tired, I just sit down.
In this election, she says her years of experience tell her one thing.
Someday, Hillary Clinton will be woman of the world, just like Eleanor Roosevelt.
We asked Jerry Emmett how she stays looking so great, and she says, exercise. She started teaching PE during the Kennedy administration. In Philadelphia, Joey Carrera, Cronkite News.
The road to becoming president of the United States is over for Bernie Sanders, but hundreds of supporters at the Democratic National Convention are still feeling the burn.
Hundreds protested today, just hours before the roll call vote. Cronkite News reporter Cooper Gardner is in Philadelphia with the latest.
The protest featured multiple speakers who addressed problems with the primary process and called it a rigged system after the release of leaked DNC emails.
All of the evidence is documented state to state to state, and I say to the corporate media, do your damn jobs!
Although many were expressing their anger, the protest was mostly peaceful.
I guess the main reason I love Bernie is just because when he speaks, you know he's coming from an authentic place. He speaks with an energy that comes from his heart.
Another Arizona native, Jason Hurst, said he's not yet ready to switch his vote to Hillary Clinton.
There's all this pressure to support Clinton because of Trump. I respect that, and I certainly can't argue with someone who takes that stance. In my opinion, Clinton does not represent solid ground in an earthquake type of year.
Each speaker emphasized that Bernie Sanders is not just a person, but an idea, one that promotes equal rights and fair treatment for everyone.
In an appeal to the Bernie Sanders supporters, former President Bill Clinton will take the stage here in a few hours. In Philadelphia, Cooper Gardner, Cronkite News.
Former Arizona Representative Gabby Giffords is in Philadelphia pushing for gun law reform. Giffords will address the full convention tomorrow, but held a rally a few blocks from the convention center today.
Reporter KESHIA Butts was there as Giffords and other officials tried to rally a vocal majority.
Stopping gun violence takes courage.
Orlando, Dallas, Sandy Hook, and Tucson, all sites of mass shootings and inspiration for today's rally in Logan Circle in Philadelphia. A victim of that Tucson shooting, former U.S. Representative Gabby Giffords took to the stage and called for everyone to come together to create common sense gun laws.
Be responsible. Democrats, Republicans, everyone. We must never stop fighting. Fight, fight, fight.
Her story touched those attending the rally, including Williams Anderson from Pittsburgh, who's attending the Democratic National Convention.
It's very emotional seeing, someone that is a victim of gun violence and still being able to stand up, and fight.
People stood here at today's rally where they held signs that said "Ceasefire PA" and "Gun Sense Voter." They also chanted "Fight, fight, fight" as they were urging for stricter gun laws.
I'm not against the Second Amendment at all. People want guns, that's fine, but I do think we need common sense.
Williams says seeing Giffords fight for gun violence makes him want to fight for these laws too.
If she's able to stand up after she has been a victim of gun violence, then me, as a person that, is fully capable, I have no excuse to sit at home and do nothing.
She seemed to inspire the same feeling in the nearly 100 people who attended the rally. In Philadelphia, KESHIA Butts, Cronkite News.
As a former Bernie Sanders supporter, Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva is now showing his support for Hillary Clinton.
He emphasized the importance of continuing to push forward a progressive agenda when he addressed the DNC. Reporter Veronica Acosta spoke one-on-one with Grijalva shortly after his speech.
Let's go win this. Let's win it for our people, and let's win it for our nation. Thank you.
Representative Raul Grijalva took center stage in Philadelphia to support Hillary Clinton, even though he initially supported Bernie Sanders.
Let's look at the alternative. Donald Trump is the antithesis of everything that Bernie ran on.
Grijalva also talked about unhappy Sanders delegates.
Now, is there joy and happiness by the Bernie delegates with regard to Hillary? No, it's not unanimous.
The representative, however, plans to continue to promote the Democratic Party.
Now, I don't intend to sit on my hands. I intend to participate and help in whatever way I can, because I see Donald Trump as a real threat.
And to help get voters to the polls in his district, as well as any other part of the country if the campaign asks for it.
We're going to do voter registration drives in Arizona. We're going to do motivation in Arizona with the young, with Latinos, with Native American voters.
The congressman even commented on the recent WikiLeaks scandal and made it clear where he stood on the issue.
I'm glad that Debbie Wasserman resigned. I'm glad she didn't open the convention. She compromised herself.
Grijalva said this is what needed to happen for the party to continue to come together. In Philadelphia, Veronica Acosta, Cronkite News.
The Democratic Party is feeling the momentum from the historic nomination of Hillary Clinton, and now several delegates think Arizona might go from red to blue. Cronkite News reporter KESHIA Butts asks if this is even possible.
When I asked everyone from delegates to politicians to researchers whether Arizona was in play, the reactions I got were mixed. Delegates think Arizona might go blue in November.
If I could say for at least one time in my lifetime I lived in a blue state, I would be very happy.
And even former governor of Maryland, Martin O'Malley, thinks so.
I think there's going to be a lot of states that become blue states in the future. I think it's possible Arizona could get there.
But Kyle Kondik, an analyst at the University of Virginia Center for Politics, thinks this isn't likely, at least in 2016.
Arizona could hypothetically become more Democratic, but there hasn't been a lot of signs in recent election results that the state is truly trending Democratic.
Delegates are still holding out hope, though.
Arizona Democratic Party is doing a lot of really good work to make that happen. We're registering voters. We're making sure that they know when and where they need to vote.
We'll have to watch the polls that come out after the Democratic National Convention. Joining me now is Alexis Tameron, the chair of the Arizona Democratic Party. Thank you for being here today. So we've been speculating, could Arizona go blue in November? What does the party research tell you?
I think we can. I think it just depends on how broad the map nationally goes, but we consider ourselves on kind of the bubble states with Georgia and North Carolina. So I do think that given the demographic changes and the opportunity with the U.S. Senate race, that is definitely in play.
And what are you most optimistic about?
What I'm most optimistic about is not only doing what we can to help elect Hillary Clinton president, but the prospects of gaining a U.S. Senate seat is what I'm most excited about.
And what are the challenges that the Democratic Party faces?
I think it's going to be more about registering people and getting them out to vote. We know that that's a constant resource that we have to prepare for, is making sure that those who are eligible to vote are registered and we get them out to vote. So it always comes down to the hand-to-hand combat in neighborhoods and getting people out to vote who really need a voice in this process.
And Hispanics, they're a key voting bloc for the Democratic Party. Are you concerned restrictions could keep those ballots from getting counted for Hispanics and other people of color?
I think that we're concerned for everyone, that we want to make sure, given what happened in Arizona on March 22nd during our presidential primary, that individuals who want to vote are given every opportunity to vote. So we're going to be very vigilant. We are challenging the elected officials and folks in charge right now to make sure that there are no access issues, not only for people of color, on our Native American communities, the Latino community, but also for those who were just waiting in line in March. We saw were just not people from minority groups. Granted, they have a little bit more restrictions in place historically, but we want to make sure the process is open and everybody has a chance to vote.
Okay, thanks for joining us. I'm KESHIA Butts in Philadelphia, Cronkite News.
Republicans here in Arizona have their own thoughts on whether our state might vote in favor of Clinton come November. I spoke with Robert Graham, state chairman of the Arizona GOP, who tells me how they're using data to target voters in the general election. Arizona, a longtime red state. Since the 2000 general election, the state has favored a Republican presidential nominee. Robert Graham, state chairman of the Arizona Republican Party, is looking to keep it that way.
They may come in with some effort and some motivation and some momentum that's unusual after their convention, but the reality is that momentum and energy is already taking place in Arizona for Republicans.
It was in 1996, however, that Arizona went blue, voted in favor for Bill Clinton, but Graham says that won't likely happen this time around.
If you hear people on the Bernie side and people that are independents and such, they consider her part of that old guard establishment candidates, and people want change. They're trying to move away from that.
Before Graham became state chair, he founded a Scottsdale-based digital and data company focused on consumer behavior. He and his team are now using that knowledge to try to secure a GOP victory.
Voting is a consumer behavior, if you think about it. We message to them with the hopes that someday they're going to vote for our candidate or our candidates.
Graham says the state GOP is doing things differently compared to the last presidential election.
In Arizona in 2012, we didn't have a ground force. Okay, the party was in debt. Here, the Arizona Republican Party is in debt. The party was more enamored with policy versus getting people elected. The parties are supposed to be about getting their nominees elected, period. Policies are for the lawmakers and for the governor.
As for the 2016 Republican presidential nominee,
Donald Trump has disrupted the entire system, and when people try to measure his success or not, they failed, because a lot of people believed that last October that he would no longer be a possible, even a chance that he would become the nominee of the Republican Party, and look where we are today.
Now, there has been some chatter about whether Graham is contemplating a run to become chairman of the Republican National Committee. He told me the November election is his primary focus, but if things go well, he would consider running.
We're also reaching out to both sides of the aisle with our Arizona delegates. Our Public Insight Network Bureau asked Democratic delegates, what do you think would need to happen to turn Arizona into a blue state? Democratic alternate delegate John David Herman said, we need 100% voter turnout by Dems and a substantial number of unaffiliated voters to vote. They do support our platform and our candidates. They simply haven't yet seen the wisdom of affiliating with our party. Our PIN Bureau also reached out to Republican delegates from Arizona. They asked if Arizona could become a blue state and under what scenario would that happen. GOP alternate delegate Jay Schlum said, at this time, I feel more Arizona people want things to improve and desire new leadership and not a continuation of President Obama's positions. Schlum added that the state may go blue, but he doesn't foresee it happening in the 2016 election. feeling ignored and concerned about the nominee. Those feelings led to a walkout of the delegation last night, and some of those feelings carried over to this morning's Native American caucus. Cronkite News reporter Joey CARRERA met with Arizona Native Americans to find out what issues they care about most this presidential election.
Droves of protesters showed up to voice their anger about Hillary Clinton's official nomination. Among the groups and messages were Native Americans.
The thing is with Bernie Sanders, and one of the reasons some of our Native people gravitate towards him is because he speaks on environmental issues.
Our lands have been exploited. Our resources have been exploited.
Ben NUVAMSA, former HOPI chairman, says corporate greed is to blame for many environmental issues Native American communities face.
Our Indian way, we are supposed to be good land stewards.
Sanders urged his supporters to back Hillary Clinton, but many American Indians feel she doesn't advocate for environmental issues strongly enough.
How are we going to get our Native people on board? Because I've already heard a lot are going to go to Jill Stein.
Kyle Blackhorse has roots in several tribes. He says he's taking steps to help his people voice their concerns.
Earlier this year, we did a voter registration booth, and that worked out pretty well.
Blackhorse says he is focusing his outreach on a key demographic.
A majority of our population is made up of youth under the age of 24.
Stephen Lewis, Gila River Indian Community Governor, says he backs Hillary Clinton.
She supports tribal sovereignty. She supports, of course, some of the really important issues facing Indian country.
And he urges other American Indians to do the same.
The Native delegates across those ones that are in other states with large Native populations, I can see us solidifying our Native group moving forward. Very important.
5 of Arizona's Native American tribes attended the caucus. In Philadelphia, Joey CARRERA, Cronkite News.
Another history-making evening is ahead in Philadelphia as Hillary Clinton accepts a Democratic nomination for president. Last night, President Barack Obama declared there's never been a man or woman more qualified than Hillary Clinton to be president. Reporter Jackie Babuanas spoke with Arizona's delegates about their expectations for Hillary's big night.
Hillary Clinton took the stage last night after President Barack Obama's endorsement. But tonight, Clinton speaks for herself, and Arizona's delegates are hopeful she'll speak to the issues they care about.
The current demographics of America, the future demographics of America tell us that diversity, progressivism, and youth are the things of the future, and she needs to appeal to that market.
Although the issues each delegate has at the top of their wish list may be different, one thing they can all agree on, this is a historic moment.
I know that for many of our delegates in the Arizona delegation, especially Jerry, she is 102 years old. She was born before women could even vote. So for her to witness this moment is groundbreaking.
Clinton and Tim Kaine plan to hold their first joint campaign rally tomorrow here in Philadelphia. From the Democratic National Convention, I'm Jackie Balbuena, Cronkite News.
Support for Hillary Clinton as a presidential candidate has been nearly a decade in the making for 3 delegates from Tucson. Reporter KESHIA spoke with these siblings about their mission to make this day a reality.
Both Alma and Consuelo Hernandez from Tucson got involved with politics thanks to their brother Daniel Hernandez.
I started college. My brother started bribing me with pizza. My involvement really started with my brother bringing us on actually when Gabby ran in 08.
Daniel was the intern who on his 5th day on the job helped save former Representative Gabby Gifford's life when she was shot at a community event in Tucson. All 3 siblings are Hillary Clinton delegates. In fact, Daniel Hernandez said one of his first jobs was working with Hillary Clinton as an intern, and one of his first political events was working on her campaign.
My first campaign ever was actually working for Secretary Clinton back when she was Senator Clinton in 2007. And the main reason I got involved was because I wanted to see a woman become president.
This is the politically involved family's first time at the Democratic National Convention, and they couldn't be happier.
Amazed by all the speakers that we're having every single day. I'm learning a lot about different candidates, and I'm really happy to be here witnessing history and with my siblings, of course.
Daniel Hernandez says they are continuing where they started. In Philadelphia, KESHIA Butts, Cronkite News.
Meanwhile, it's been hard for some Arizona delegates who pledged their support to Bernie Sanders to hide their disappointment.
It's
been a hard pill for all of us to swallow. And it's conflicting because at the same time, I am excited that there's a first female nominee for a major party. Like, that's exciting. I'm a woman, I get that. But it's hard for me to forget everything that's happened.
Arizona Representative Ruben Gallego was welcomed to the stage of the Democratic National Convention last night with cheers and applause after a video created by the Clinton campaign played on the big screen. Reporter Veronica Acosta caught up with the congressman and spoke with him about it.
Congressman Ruben Gallego set up for his speech at the Democratic National Convention a video that questioned Donald Trump's relationship with veterans.
The point is that Donald Trump just uses veterans to help himself out, to help us out politically. He doesn't really care about us. It's just a political tool that he uses.
Gallego spent his time at the podium talking about his life as a Marine, Donald Trump, and the Democratic Party.
I think the most important thing they want to come out is us unify as a party, but two, again, that Donald Trump is unfit to serve.
And of course, a positive reaction from his home state, especially with one delegate.
I'm a very proud wife today. He spoke about his service as a United States Marine and the diverse unit with which he served.
Reservists have said Trump businesses fired them for missing work because of their duty.
As someone who served in the state legislature and now in Congress, he's one of our new great up-and-coming young leaders in our country, and I'm very happy that he got to speak to the whole world tonight.
The congressman had the 7:15 time slot on day 3 of the convention, something he was very happy about.
I mean, I feel great that they gave me this honor. I also felt that I had to make sure I took it seriously. Donald Trump really is a serious threat to the United States. He's unfit to be president.
Gallego said he wore his lucky cufflinks, gifted to him by John Glenn. In Philadelphia, Veronica Acosta, Cronkite News.
Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Cronkite News. We will bring you full continuing coverage of election 2016 on Arizona PBS and on cronkitenews.azpbs.org.